Welcome back to the bench. This is kind of where I left off on the Camaro. This is the mashup with the monogram 24 scale and 25th scale. Building the Ollie's kit, but I'm using the 25th scale parts. So the thing that I needed to do was start working on the engine. So let's figure out what's going to have to happen there. So let's talk about the engine. You'll have to pardon my thumb. I attempted to slice part of it off with an X-Acto knife or saw. It happens. Send a piece of it to the burn pile. Anyway, so I have mocked up the engine, and what I've done is drilled and pinned the exhaust manifolds to the heads, so those go on, and then the rest of this is just put together with good old school glue, so I can take it apart. But I just kind of needed to see where all of this was, and I even had this piece on there. It was glued on with the school glue, and it's come off. And make sure it has hood clearance, and yes, clearance it does. Things I kind of don't like, yeah, that big intake kind of hangs off the front and the rear a little bit. It's okay, we're gonna just pretend we didn't see that. But there's a bigger problem. When it goes into the engine compartment, this is kind of why you mock stuff up. And see, you know, we're just in the mock-up stage here. And once this gets where it kind of needs to fit, which is about right there, maybe, probably not, comes forward a little bit. When the exhaust pipes come up and go into side pipe things, the master cylinder is gonna be in the way. So that's sort of a problem. And these are the kit parts, and they kind of do things like that, and they go and out. And yeah, the 24 scales, they aren't going to fit how they need to, obviously, because this is like a real Camaro and the other one is kind of like a faux Camaro. That's not fair. Actually, I think this is the one that goes, yeah, it goes up this way. And but bottom line is, this is not going to fit. So unfortunately, those, you know where they're going, burn pile. So what I'm going to do is make some new ones that fit out of solder. And this is my kind of test piece to see where it starts, where it might finish. So I'm going to get busy and see if I can make this fit, and even get it around and see if I can squeeze the master cylinder in here. It probably won't have a booster, but it needs to have a master cylinder. And I've thought about sectioning these turbskis and getting them a little bit closer, but I think that's a can of worms that I just don't want to eat. So see, it doesn't have the valve covers on. We're going to probably try to use those, and I'm still thinking about using these, because that's what was on it. These were kind of the cool things, that chrome bell housing and this chrome deep sump oil pan. I know it's gonna hit the ground, so I might have to cut this bottom piece off very, very carefully, and maybe make a different kind of sump for it and try to save the chromium. Maybe find a different chrome one, I don't know. But you know, this engine basically, I don't want to really pull all my white glue stuff apart because I need to use it, but you know, that's stockish and kind of like that. So let's see, you know, it could fit maybe, but I might have another one. You see what's going on here? What are you doing, suspension? Okay, let me see if I can make this work. So I think I've done something underneath this hood. So let's take Mr. Hobby Knife, and oh yeah, thumb is healing Oh, okay. So, what we do here, see what's going on under this hood. Without destroying everything, because that's probably what I'll do. But I think I'm going to just lift this off. And look at that. Let's zoom in a little bit. And then you can kind of see what's going on here. So I have the intake from the 24 scale kit with the twin turbos. If you notice, they're no longer chrome because basically they had mold lines all over them and thick chrome, and they just weren't going to look real good. And I think I can jazz them up and maybe even come up with some better filters for this side, because I think that's how that works. There's a carb. I don't think this really works how it's supposed to, but it certainly looks cool. And we can get in here and kind of spin it around. Not that one is moved just slightly, but we have the exhaust pipes going in, and as I said, they were modeled after these. These are the 24 scale ones that have a lot of thick plating on them and thicker sprue tabs that I think, yeah, we know where that goes. Burn pile. But anyway, we made these out of solder, this kind of stuff, and if it was upside down, it would read better. 3/32, 2.4 millimeter. It was just that stuff, bent. And it goes down and around, and where'd the car go? There it is. I made aluminum side pipes, and as you can see, there's a lot of tape on it because that kind of is what makes them hold on for right now until I make some brackets or something. But those were simply made out of K&S 1/8 round alum tube. We know what that means. Number 18102 K&S. There's 3 sticks in this long pack. So those are cool. And I think with this engine, we're going to tear this car apart. Well, as I knock the phone, that's fun. No. Kind of show how this worked. So hold on a second. So as I said, like, we got one pipe over here and then the other pipe on that side, and I think they're in a good spot. The wheels certainly are in a good spot. I'm kind of digging this. This is looking pretty tough with its 70s twin turbo, and got even a 3D printed distributor in there. That actually has a very important part of this. So I'm going to start peeling back the tape and kind of show you what's going on here. So out comes one of the pipelators, and that's all it is. It was just kind of like, I'm not, use that thing that I just set on fire. Oh, and that too, because these kind of suck because they're not even really round. And these will look a lot better. I can make tips, and I might put some screen or something cool. I'm kind of actually starting to like this build a little bit. And I'll peel that off, and out comes another pipe. That's its friend. And the rear axle falls out, and as seen before, it has the Dana. I haven't put the cover on it, and I'll make some. We're gonna figure out the traction bars soon, because it's got to have those like the other kit. So we'll just put those over there, get these out of the way. Let's get the tape out of the way. I like clean bench. So how this comes apart, anyone that's built this kit knows it's very tight. There it all falls apart. And what I had done was tape the firewall in and tape the interior tub on, because I kind of needed all this stuff. What did I do? I broke that. Let's just get the loose stuff out of the way, because I need to know where the firewall locates the engine. So that's why we kind of just tape things together. And intake is coming off, that's okay. Distributor. But there's been a whole lot more drilling and pinning going on, because I don't like surprises. When I get all this stuff painted, and I don't want spooge marks thinking that, okay, is this going to fit or is that going to fit? I want to know it's going to fit. So this is kind of why I spend a little bit more time at this part, because then I know the model's going to go together without a problem. Will I have a problem? Likely, but a whole lot less problems. So what I've also done, as I said, I wanted to put that chrome clutch can bell housing on. So it's kind of neat how this went together. So see, I've even gotten the transmission pan on. And speaking of the drilling and pinning, you see this little wire right there? That is a very important piece, because that is what holds the engine in. And so basically what I did was just drill a little hole through that mount and into the transmission, and then I can insert that in as I flip this and throw it around and bend that over, and then the engine is in. And so what I've done here, speaking of drilling and pinning and trying not to lose parts, is this turbo unit has also been drilled and pinned. And you can kind of see the pins on the tops of the exhaust manifolds and little holes in the turbo mount. So then I know that this goes together. And then the exhaust manifolds were also drilled and pinned. I think I showed that already. I don't know, maybe. Tell me down in the comments. All these pins, this didn't take that much time, because all you do is you have your pin vise with the bit in it, and then the wire I use is this beading wire from the Lobby of Hobby, and they match, and you just drill. It doesn't take any time. And speaking of drilling, I also drilled out the spark plug wire holes. But more advanced drilling and pinning is you're thinking, oh, did I glue any of this stuff together? Actually, yes. I put just a little bit of super glue, just a little bit, just to kind of test this. And as you can see, I've had to section that down, because this giant sump, it was gonna bottom out, and I don't like my cars to bottom out, so I got to figure out a way to fill that. And I might cut that lame oil filter off. But how this all goes together now, and with the oil pan, I had to cut the kit one off because this was molded in, and that was not gonna work. So there had to be a little bit of slicing and dicing. And stock oil pan, you got it, burn pile. Stock bell housing, burn pile. Okay, so how this works, this is kind of neat. You can see I put a piece of evergreen through here. Ooh, it's like magic. And that's a little piece of aluminum tubing that I drilled through. I had to cut the balancer off, and that's how all that kind of mounts together. And that's solid. It's not going to come apart. And I know that this engine, or this transmission, is going to locate there every time. And I can use these parts to paint it. And then even with this just slides on. It's just a hole. I won't even have to glue this. I probably will. But then this is another piece of evergreen tube. Just some stuff like this. Well, that's rod. That's not correct. It's like rod, but it's hollow like that. There's a piece of it. I just keep a whole pile of this stuff off to the side here because that's what you do. So that's kind of how this thing's going to go together as far as the engine goes. Still have a little bit of other stuff. This is kind of neat. The hole in the intake manifold, the 3D printed distributor is what's going to locate that. These are more drills and pins, so need to figure out the valve covers. I might use the ones that come with the 25th scale kit. They look pretty good because the ones that come in the other kit just don't really look all that good. I don't know. Undecided. Next thing, I need to figure out all this because this is cool. It has separate door panels and no back seat, just like the 24 scale kit. The 24 scale kit has a chrome roll bar. That might have to get sliced and diced, and it's going to have mold lines all over it, and so there goes the plating. I don't know. Probably have to just make that. And then the seats. Seats are cool in the 24th. I got to see if they're going to fit and not hit this or this, because big seats in the smaller car sometimes be a problem. So we got that. Like I said, traction bars for that, and I think this thing is getting pretty close to cleaning up. Get all the mold lines off, wash it up. Gonna probably zip off the emblems and replace those. I don't know. Might do something with the wipers. Probably not. Fix up the grill. Make a spoiler. I think this has a spoiler. What am I saying? Make a spoiler. I don't know. But kind of digging this. Hope y'all are too. So I think this looks like a good stopping point. Next time, I'll dive into the interior to get one step closer to the paint booth. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, you know what to do, because I have all kinds of model car stories to tell. Thanks for watching.